When it comes to home insurance, Geico works for you. And since I'm the Geico Gecko, I'm here working for you too.
Hey, Gecko, can you record my voicemail greeting?
No problemo. You've reached the amazing Rita. She's probably busy right now teaching music theory to neighbourhood birds, or telling a total stranger how they can bundle home and car insurance with Geico to get the discounts they deserve. But rest assured, she'll get back to you once she's done brightening her little corner of the world. Did that sound all right?
Nailed it. No notes.
Let Geico work for you. Get more with Geico.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams Labor Day sale and get 35% off paints and stains August 22nd through September 4th. With prices starting at $31.84, it's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your interior or exterior, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store or shop the sale online. Delivery available on qualifying orders. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Welcome to Like Mother, Like Murder. I am Rachel.
And I'm Heather.
We bring you the good,
the badass,
and the crime.
This is Like Mother, Like Murder.
And right now is Like Mother, Like Murder's trial updates, where we will be providing daily coverage in the ongoing trial of Donna Adelson for the murder of Dan Markel. We've been covering this case for years now, and so far, 4 people have been found guilty in the plot to murder this father of 2 young boys.
And Donna Adelson, Dan Markel's former mother-in-law, is the latest conspirator to stand trial for this crime. Rachel and I will be continuing to provide coverage every day, and will be joined by special guests throughout this special series. We will be bringing you this every day that there is trial coverage, so let's do this. Today is technically day 3 if you want to count jury selection, but really it's the first day because they started with the opening statements today for the Donna Adelson trial for the murder of Dan Markel. Now, she stands with the same things that everybody else pretty much in this trial has been accused of. So murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and then the third charge, which is some other kind of conspiracy murder charge. But basically, she is now the 5th person. So already who's been charged with this? We've got the 2 men who were the hired hitmen, right, for this crime, who actually traveled all the way from Miami to Tallahassee. We've got the trigger man and the driver who were hired to commit this. We've got the trigger man's baby mama, who stood trial already and was found guilty. We also have Charlie Adelson, who was the trigger man's baby mama's boyfriend, who also was found guilty. And he is the brother of Wendy Adelson, who was the ex-wife of the victim. So if you're following
it's
here,
like a big
just
web,
this is like I should have like a whiteboard behind me. The victim in all of this is Dan Markel. His ex-wife is Wendy Adelson. Her brother was Charlie Adelson. Charlie Adelson was dating Katie Magbanawa, whose baby daddy was the trigger man, and baby daddy's best friend was the driver. Now, driver, trigger man.
You gotta add the names though. So we have Luis Rivera.
Okay.
And we have
Sigfredo Garcia.
Yeah.
These were the driver and the trigger man.
Catherine Magbanawa.
Catherine Magbanawa and Charlie Adelson.
Yeah.
These 4 have already been found guilty. And then, so we have all of them. Now, Donna Adelson, this is the matriarch of the Adelson family. She is now on trial, and the prosecution is using a lot of the same evidence that has already been brought forth, specifically in Katie's trial and in Charlie's trial. And they're basically saying that all of this trickled down basically from Donna, that it was Donna's whole, like in their opening statements, the prosecution really relied heavily on saying that like Donna Adelson as the matriarch, she persuaded, she manipulated, and she basically was telling Wendy, like, we need to do any and everything we possibly can to get you and the boys down here. There's other than the things we've heard before, which is let's basically bribe Dan Markel with $1 million to let you just like come down here. The other thing that I actually hadn't heard before, or even if I had, I forgot, get this. So a big part of Dan Markel's identity was he was very, very into it and making sure as well that his sons understood their Jewish faith. Okay. And so one thing that Donna Adelson apparently told Wendy Adelson to do was to take pictures of them in front of like a Catholic church and pretend to get them like baptized in the Catholic church to like egg him on and like
everything's
say that they
just
were
dirty. Like her part, the things that you hear from her is just dirty. I love in the news articles.
It's so bad.
It is. I love in the news articles though that it says like you see the headlines saying like normal person or matriarch mastermind. Like it's all about because it stemmed down, trickled down from her. Also, hi Jasmine.
Right.
Jasmine's here too.
Thank you for joining us. Yeah, so we are joined today. Our special guests today, as we go through the first day of this trial, is April and Jasmine. April from Crime to Burn, and Jasmine from Black Coffee, Crime and Crochet. Yeah, so they're basically painting this picture, right, that Donna Adelson is this mastermind, and she put all of this together, and she's saying that, you know, Donna was manipulating, very, very involved in Wendy's life. They provided evidence that basically she had laid out a list of like basically Match.com guys and was like, oh, Wendy, all of these seem really good. You should date all of these guys. And she, you know, she had been nagging at her son Charlie, like, we really need to find a way to get rid of Dan. We really need to find a way to get Wendy down here. And the big thing that I think the prosecution is really going to get into is that whole thing where Dan Markel had filed a motion. And what we have to remember is Dan Markel and Wendy both went to law school, were both lawyers, okay? So their divorce and their child custody, it was messy. It was dirty. There was a lot of motions filed. It was, and the divorce had been finalized, but the custody battle was ongoing and it was messy. So Dan Markel had really recently, up to the point of him being killed, murdered in cold blood on the street, had filed a motion saying that Donna, the grandmother of his children, could not have unsupervised contact with him and Wendy's sons because she had been saying bad things about, basically bad-mouthing him to their children, calling him stupid, things like this, in front of the kids. And from what I understand, he heard about it because the boys would come home and say, Grandma says you're stupid. So he had filed a motion basically saying, look, she can't have unsupervised contact with them because I will not have my sons exposed to a woman in their life calling their father dumb. And it was not too long after this motion was put out that he was killed. So that got brought up by the prosecution in their opening statement. And then the other thing that they brought up, of course, was the conversations that she has with Charlie after the quote unquote bump, which is when the authorities come in and they basically, under the guise of like a blackmail, go up to Donna and they're like, hey, look, we know that you're taking care of Luis Rivera. We know you're taking care of Sigfredo Garcia. We know you're taking care of Katie McBanawa, basically paying them off for this hired hit. You need to also be taking care of like everybody else. And instead of doing what a normal not guilty person would do, instead of going to the police and say somebody's blackmailing me for something, she immediately contacts her son and and starts talking in code and starts saying, we need to pay these people off, and it's just so guilty.
I don't know how much code it was,
it's
honestly.
so guilty.
Like, how much code was there actually? Hi, Alicia.
We are now joined by Alicia as well. Thank you, Alicia, for joining us.
You guys and wanted to say hi.
Aw, yay.
Hey,
Please
Jasmine and
say
April
hi.
are on as well. Now we've got 5 people here talking about this. I wanted to really quickly talk about how you were talking about the kids. So I did not watch the entire trial. I'm getting a lot of the updates from you, but there were certain things that I watched. And one of the things talking about the kids was they were talking to, I forget exactly who he was, but he might have been, I don't know. The point has nothing to do with him other than the fact that they were like, so you're saying that you got that statement from the emails that Donna called Dan Markel names or something like that, and he goes, no, I didn't get those from the emails. That's not the exact words in the emails. I got that directly from the grandchildren. And he's like, yeah, but the grandchildren are what, 3 and 4 at this age, and kind of like trying to downplay that. And I feel like for me as a mother, and just in general, I feel like that age is probably one of the most truthful ages where they're just blunt and say exactly what's on their mind.
Guess what Grandma just said to me in the car on the way over here? Oh, for sure. Like, that's how you're like, oh, for sure, that's what Grandma just definitely said to you in the car on the way over here.
That's how I felt. I was like, okay, but let me downplay this because they're 3 and 4. No, sir.
I know. Yeah, no.
You're
you
stretching.
can upplay it for sure. Yeah. From the, what do they say? From the mouths of babes? Like, that's a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I was like, this is just such guilty information. And this is, so a lot of what we heard today was things that we've heard before. Like I said, all came out, a lot of this came out in Charlie's trial. A lot of it came out in Katie McBanowa's trial. One thing, though, that is new, because it happened more recently, was the prosecution presented a supposed, alleged, I have to say alleged, and everything we're saying, we have to say alleged because she's currently on trial. She has not been found guilty. But allegedly, Donna Adelson had been speaking to people while she's in jail, basically saying, I will pay you, allegedly, I will pay you in veneers, I'll pay you in money, I'll get you prescription drugs, whatever you need, if you will basically perjure yourself and lie and say, Katie McBanowa told you to do this, that, and the other. And they even provide like a written out alleged script that this informant said, this is line for line what Donna Adelson told me to come up on the stand and say. To basically say that Donna Adelson had nothing to do with it, and this was all actually like Katie McBanowa. And I was just like, so this is brand new information, right? Because this all happened after Donna Adelson had been taken into custody. But I was like, wow. And I'm like, so I'm waiting for that freaking witness testimony. And we all know jailhouse informants, you have to be very careful with that testimony. But if this can be like in any way substantiated, this quote unquote alleged script, this piece of paper, I'm like, oh my gosh. And so anyway, the prosecution's opening was really well done. That prosecutor does a good job. The defense's opening, I mean, maybe I'm just biased.
I was going to say, you're definitely biased, but how could you not be when you know everything that's going on here? It's really hard.
It is. But the other thing that really got me in this case was the judge. He is an insanely patient man. So this judge has been dealing with this case now for years. I mean, Donna Adelson was first arrested, over a year ago, I want to say. I don't even know the timeline.
I think it was the end of 2023 because I think she was arrested because, I mean, she did try to flee. So there's that.
That's right.
Or allegedly try to flee to Vietnam. But it's like she was arrested, I think, the end of 2023, and then she was going to have trial in 2024. That never happened because the defense attorney ended up quitting because of, conflict of interest. And then
because he was Charlie's attorney, right?
Is this the same judge that did Charlie's?
I don't think it's the same judge who presided over Charlie's trial, but it's been the same judge that's been presiding over Donna's trial. Okay. And so he's been dealing with all of like this change in lawyers, change in this, and then so it was so funny because the minute they had started testimony on one of the things, the defense just starts objection, and then at one point the judge sends the jury out, and he's like, we already established, we went over this so much pre-trial, we went like literally like thing for thing about this. You cannot continue to waste the jury's time with these objections. We need to get this clear now. Yeah. We are not going to do this in front of the jury. You will not continue to waste their time. We have done this before. Like, what else are you going to object to? And he has just so much, and he was just like, he's like, delay, like I'm over these delays, and he's like, I already mentioned this multiple times, and the patience of this man is just commendable. Like this guy is like, I do not run this is a no nonsense court. I am not dealing with this. This judge was so good. And then at one point too, he had, like, this was during one of the breaks or whatever, but he had sent the jury out, and he basically told Donna Adelson, you need to keep your emotions in check. He was like,
what was she doing?
He goes, he's like, your hand movements, you're flailing.
So maybe when they said like, something about her,
like when
she
they
would react
like, she would
to
get,
it?
and like, okay, you're on trial for murder. I get it. Like, you're like, this is an emotional time, but like they would say something, and like she'd apparently have like a hand motion, or she'd have some kind of like reaction, obviously something that the jury could see. Yeah. And he was like, you need to like calm that shit down, lady. Yeah. It was crazy. So not too much new information today, but
can you give us, like,
some
if you were
drama.
to, and I mean, I want anyone to chime in on this. If you guys have questions, or you guys, know anything that you're like, oh, I wonder where this is going to go, or how this is going to go. But could you give us an overview of like, what is the prosecuting stance, and this is what they brought, like, summed up, and this is where the defense is coming from, and what we have to look forward to moving forward.
So what I'm thinking here is the prosecutions, their biggest like theme that they're going on is, what they're relying on is that Donna knew everything from jump, that she was part of the plan, if not the mastermind of the plan, that this plan never would have happened regardless. Like, even though Charlie, that she's, at this point, there have already been Luis Rivera, Sigfredo Garcia, Katie Magbanua, and Charlie Adelson. Regardless of these four other people would not even be in prison right now had it not been for Donna Adelson, because she's the one who started it all. She was desperate to get Wendy and the boys away from Tallahassee. And they are just setting up a foundation to show, A, that Donna Adelson was super, super involved in her children's lives. And not just involved, but controlling and manipulative in their lives. And that she came up with this plan and persuaded her son, Charlie, to make it happen. That's what the prosecution is going to be setting up here. And the defense, I have a feeling that they're going to go the same route that Charlie went, that actually... Because Charlie's whole defense was, this happened because Katie Magbanua found out that they had this problem and was like, oh, I took care of it. I had him killed, pretty much. And if you want me to keep quiet about it and not tell people that it was your idea, pay me money, right? And so basically Charlie's whole defense was, I was being blackmailed. And so I think that's going to be the same kind of defense that Donna brings up, is that it was a blackmail situation.
How does that work in two separate cases, right? Because Charlie has already been convicted. And so in my head, it's like, it only makes sense that would be off the table when it comes to that thought process of them thinking that it might have been blackmail that way.
So they're not, so the way legally is, they're not going to be able to bring up, they're not going to be able to bring up like the results of Charlie's trial, especially because Charlie has already started the appeals process and stuff like that. There's going to be certain pieces of evidence that they can and cannot bring up that have to do with Charlie's trial, basically. So that's how it's going to work. I mean, we'll see there. So we'll see, because originally too, we'll see how Charlie as well, like he's going to, whether or not he gets on the witness stand and for whom, I don't know. We'll see how that works out. Because if he gets on the witness stand, yeah.
Sorry.
Shoot. No, go, please.
When it came to jury selection, did they have to like not know anything at all about any of the other previous trials?
That's such a good question, and that's why. So a big problem with this is the defense pushed and pushed and pushed to move this case out of Tallahassee, because this is such a huge case in Tallahassee, and the judge denied it. And so what they did was they basically spent the first 2 days getting 100 people that they believed had a seemingly decent chance that they didn't know too much about this trial. So they were hoping to find people that didn't super consume true crime, didn't super consume the media, because this shit was everywhere. Whether you're old school or new school, like this was in the newspapers, this was all over local news, this is all over national news. There's been huge podcasts about this, there's been huge like coverage about this, everything.
But the other thing is they are pretty well off. So they're known in the area as well. It's like they're
known in Miami.
Oh, okay.
So that's part of it, is the Adelsons are known in Miami, but you're all also right, is that Dan Markel was a pretty popular guy in Tallahassee, especially in like the college lawyer scene. But you're right, because the Markels, Dan Markel especially, but the other thing is the Markels, they're actually from like Canada, but Dan Markel had made a name for himself at the Tallahassee place. So what the biggest thing with the jury selection is, even if let's say you were a prospective juror, even if you did know about the case, that wouldn't in and of itself have like excluded you from being a juror. So it's always like the questions would have gone something like this. Do you know anything about this case? You saying yes wouldn't have said, okay, you're excused. It's okay, yes, I know about the case. The follow-up question would have been, what you know about the case, regardless of what, would you be able to maintain an impartial, stance? Is what you know about the case going to change the way that you can look at the evidence, change the way that you think about like innocence or guilt? And so that was a major part of the voir dire process. It was a major part of especially the defense in terms of like whether or not they believe they could find a jury that would be an impartial jury that wouldn't, try to like already have this in mind that they thought Donna Adelson was guilty, because this, you're right, like this is a very popular case, especially in the Tallahassee area. So, and I mean throughout everywhere in Miami, I'm sure as well. But you're right, it did play a part, but they always that's why it took 3 days of jury selection to find 12 people, because they needed to make sure that the jurors, even if they did know anything about the case, that they could say, I do know about this case, I've heard this, that, and the other, maybe, but it's not going to change, how I would make a decision on innocence or guilt.
Yeah, definitely. It's crazy because, I mean, I made it very clear just now, right before you began talking about all of that I couldn't be sitting on that.
No, not me either.
I couldn't be a jury member on this one.
I know way too much about the case. And the thing is, like, I think if I was ever, and so I have been pulled, like summoned for jury. And I think if I told them, hey, in my free time, I'm a true crime podcaster, they'd throw me off. They'd throw me off for jury. Like, most likely the defense would immediately, or the prosecution, depending on how it would go, they'd immediately kick me off. for cause. They'd say no. And even before that, if I had told them I'm a criminal justice student and or I was like when I was in college, if I had said I study psychology and I study forensic psychology and I'm a criminal justice major, they would have kicked me out. Just because you know too much about eyewitness. If there was an eyewitness in and what I know about eyewitnesses, the defense would have, or the prosecution, depending on what side the eyewitness was on, they would have kicked me off the jury because of what I know about eyewitness testimony. Like
that and the true crime podcast of it all.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. They never let any of us sitting right here on this call. They've never let us on a jury.
I think that's the only reason I got out of my last jury duty.
I'm a true crime. I have a true crime podcast.
Yeah, I'm like,
I want
but
nothing
secretly,
yeah.
I just didn't want to do it.
Yeah, but like honestly, it's true because it's really hard knowing what you know about the criminal justice system when you've reviewed this many cases. Like it is. I mean, maybe if it was like a even if I don't know, maybe if it was a financial crime, I might be able to be, because I don't know too much about that. Like I could maybe be impartial. I don't know, but it's true. I mean, it's a good question, Jasmine, because it definitely plays a role in a high profile case like this.
Yeah, definitely. All right, what are we thinking's happening next week? Also, how long have they said? How long they think this is going to be?
So interestingly, the judge thinks this is only going to be a 2-week trial.
Okay,
he thinks this is going to be like 2 weeks.
Bing bang boom.
And he's a no nonsense. He's like, we're getting this shit done. And he's very much like, we are not here to waste the jury's time. So he told the jury, we think we're only going to need you for 2 weeks. They're not being sequestered or anything like that. So yeah, he's no nonsense in this. He's like, he's boom, boom, boom. He's like, we're getting this done. I think he's like, look, I have Labor Day holiday plans. We are not stretching this out. So I'm thinking by the time CrimeCon rolls around, y'all, we're gonna have an answer for this.
A guilty verdict? I was waiting for it.
Most like allegedly.
I know. Hey, you say allegedly, I
probably,
say whatever I want.
most likely.
For real.
All right.
She's like, don't tell me what to do.
I know. I was like,
do you guys have any other questions? I'm excited because Monday we're probably going to be introduced to some more newer evidence, is my guess. The prosecution's going to bring, because today was really just laying foundations, summing up for the jury more of just like the basics of the crime itself and foundations about how this all ties back to Donna. And I think as we continue into the early parts of next week, we're really going to start to see more of the how the prosecution is going to start tying this to Donna. And so I think that's when some of the newer information is going to start to be shown. And so I'm that's where I'm really starting to see some new stuff, some interesting stuff that we're gonna talk about. But do you guys have any questions?
I don't.
Thank you for joining on our first day. This was exciting for me.
I think that's something
like
you gotta.
Newscaster.
And you should. And you did a great job.
You are a newscaster.
Yeah. I mean, you've been following this very, very,
for a long
like,
time.
insanely for a long time. Like, every single article, every single update. I feel like this and Crystal Rogers has had the most amount of updates on, like, Mother Lake Murder specifically.
For sure.
Where it was just like, oh my gosh, I need to bring this up. But just tell everyone, you guys, we're going to be back here as often as we can. I think we're going to try to do a daily talk every single
as long as there's
day,
a trial
there should be one.
day Monday, so we'll be back on Monday.
Yep, sounds good. And there might be more people joining us. I know some of you are muted, but I would love if you guys gave yourself a little plug for being here. Alicia, you're not muted.
Yeah,
you go
tell
first.
us about your podcasts.
You're so
podcast
sweet.
Plural in Alicia's case.
I am one half of the Twisted and Uncorked podcast that I host with my American bestie Sierra, and I also host Truly Twisted podcast on the Fire Eyes Media Network. So
yes, you do, and
check
you're amazing
her
at
out.
both. All right,
Yes.
April, you're up.
So I'm the host of Crime to Burn. We focus on arson and criminal fires, and we just had a big week. We launched our Patreon this week, and Rachel is our very first patron.
Yes, I am. And let me tell you,
Did
I am
Rachel
so
tell
excited.
you what she wanted the most from your Patreon?
The chaotic newsletter.
What did I say I wanted the most?
Anything like the internal thoughts that April provides.
She had told me at one point, we were just randomly talking, and she told me at one point what she wants most from you, April, is just like a 12-minute blooper reel from you just to get through her day.
That's actually on the list of Patreon ideas.
Okay, good.
But
I was like, I get that at the end of every single one of your episodes anyways. I could just go play back.
Well, she wants like a non-stop blooper reel. That's what she wants.
We'll work on that. We actually
That's
have
my favorite.
so Rachel, since you're our only Patreon member so far, we have some content coming for you this weekend.
I can't wait.
Nice.
I am eagerly awaiting it. All right, Jasmine, take it away. Do it, Jasmine.
My background is not quiet, so sorry.
That's okay.
But I host Black Coffee Crime and Crochet. We are on break right now, but season 2 is coming soon. But we focus on scams, frauds, and sometimes murders committed by Black men and women, while also sharing a crochet project and iced coffee recipe.
Yes.
Yes. Gotta love it.
You guys, we've worked with Alicia. We've worked with Jasmine. We haven't had April on yet in the sense of we need to have her for a collaboration.
I was going to say, April is the only person I haven't collaborated with in this call-in. That's a crime.
That is ridiculous.
I'm here for
in
it.
itself.
And can I tell you that, Jasmine, I can't wait for you to put out new episodes because for some reason your voice puts me in the most soothed state. And I re-listen to your old episodes when I've had a long day and I can't fall asleep just because your voice just soothes me to sleep. So if your downloads have not dropped since you went on break, it's my fault. I listen to at least 2 episodes a week.
I was wondering why. They really have been like consistent.
It's me.
I love that so much. That's
I love
so
it, and I can
sweet.
actually vouch for that because April has told me that before, so she ain't lying. That is coming from the heart.
So sweet.
Yeah, I love that.
I love this podcasting group of amazing women.
It is incredible.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us on our very first Like Mother Like Murder coverage of the Donna Adelson trial for the murder of Dan Markel. We will be back next week with some more trial coverage. Until then, is everyone ready to say it?
Oh, yeah, I always am.
Everybody get ready. 3, 2, 1.
Caleb, you
Bye.
That's always the best.